Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. We have such a special show today. I don't want to spend too much time with the preamble other than to say thank one and all for your listening pleasure as you've insisted on the emails you've sent us. Yes, write to us. Continue to write to us. We've only got a handful of shows left before this 10-year adventure comes to a fucking end, and I can't tell you how unbelievably happy I am to have spent this 10 years with you and also to say farewell. All right, so Sammy and Jamie aren't here. The final live show will be at the Dynasty Typewriter Theater on March 2nd. Pamela Adlon from your Better Things program on the FX network is currently booked, and I'm very, very excited about that. That'll be the final roundup with Sammy and Jamie. And hopefully Engineer Sam will be there. Just the tip of the hat. Yeah, he's very excited. All right, let's get to our guest. Other than to say thank you again for all the love and attention from the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel efforts on the Amazon Prime. Do you enjoy 2-day shipping? Then why not get a shit ton of free programming as well? That's what you get with your Amazon Prime programming. 2-day shipping. Who doesn't want 2-day shipping? I know I do.
I do.
Yeah. My guest today was brought to my attention by the head writer and my better half of the show, Jamie Foxx. That's her born given name, unlike Eric Bishop, a comedian who changed his name to Jamie Foxx and then went on to win an Oscar and destroyed my fiance's life forevermore. But
that's another story.
With his fake name. But that story is another and been told. So she starts watching this show, Bar Rescue, and I don't even remember what network it was on originally. And then said, you've got to see this guy. And then I was instantly hooked, as everyone becomes, with the Bar Rescue. And my guest today, Jon Taffer, the poster man, the face, the yelling and the screaming. Jon, welcome.
Kev, first of all,
yeah,
I'm bummed that you're leaving.
Thank you.
And, I think a lot of us are going to miss you. So to think that I'm here for one of your final shows is an honor, buddy.
Well, thank you.
But a lot of us are going to be missing you.
Thank you. That presupposes you've listened or seen the show prior.
I have.
You have?
I have.
Oh, look at that. Well, I am humbled and grateful. So on our DVR at home currently, there must be at least, conservatively, 61 episodes of your show. She records them, and it's baffling that you would leave 61 episodes in a DVR queue.
I'm shocked to hear.
How about 10 at a time? Why do we have to? Yeah. So that's an ongoing thing. But one of the first things I noticed about your show that was so compelling was a story that I will share via Jamie. So she grew up in Pittsburgh, Ambridge in particular. And her father, when she was preteen, decided he always wanted to open a bar.
Like us all.
Uh-huh. And so he opens a bar and gives his friends free drinks. And it's a matter of no time before the bar is suffering and, in fact, going under, which takes a number of years to finally fizzle out. Mm-hmm. So I felt like when Jamie turned me on to your show, she was already tapped into, pun intended, this story.
Yeah,
and
the feeling and toughness of the business.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Kev. People think the bar business is so profitable. A cocktail costs $1. They sell it for $6. How do you lose money?
Right.
Well, you got rent, insurance, payroll, utilities.
Yeah.
A bar actually only clears about 12%, 12 cents on the dollar. That's it. So if you screw up your payroll, you screw up this, those profits are gone really quick. 12%. So it's not inherently that profitable. It's hard.
Yeah. And how did you start with because one of the things Jamie's pointed out to me while we watch an episode is I think he lives in Vegas, but he also seems to have come from these various other areas that while you're helping someone with their bar, I'm from here, you would say. There's like 2 or 3 of those.
Well, I've lived here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I live in Las Vegas now.
Right.
I moved to Las Vegas from Palm Beach, Florida.
Of course.
And I'm a New York City boy.
So you were born and raised in New York?
I was born and raised in New York on Long Island.
Okay.
Moved to California like we all did back then.
Sure.
You were already here, so you had it made.
I got here in 83, just so 35 years ago.
Oh, I beat you. I came here actually in 79.
Whoa. And what was the pursuit for you?
So I came here in 79. My first bar gig was in this town running the Troubadour.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So in 1979, Doug Weston threw the keys at me and said, you take it, you can run it. And I started running the Troubadour. I had gone to college for political science. I'm glad I didn't go in that business.
Sure.
So it was just a labor of love. I fell in love with it. I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah,
but I never picked this as a career, Kev.
You don't just walk into the Troubadour and some guy throws you the keys. You must have earned your way.
No, not really.
No.
In the case of Doug Weston, that wasn't the case. He was losing money. And when I took over the Troubadour, here's a fascinating story. When I took over the Troubadour in 1979, we were going broke. We had no money.
Right.
And it was about 8 inches of water, a flood in the kitchen. And we had no money to fix it. So I got pallets from a shipping company, threw the pallets on the floor. So we walked on top of the water on the pallets. And then
from the beginning, from day one, you were walking on water.
When we did that, we were broke. We had the 25th anniversary of the Troubadour, which I created, and George Carlin and Jackson Brown and Linda Ronstadt, they all came back.
Wow.
We made money and pulled the Troubadour out of the hole. But at the time I took it over, it was failing big time.
And how long were you running it?
So I was at the Troubadour till about 81.
Couple years.
In 81, I got really burned out on 3 bands a day.
Sure.
So I made the big move down the street to Barney's Beanery.
Of course.
And Barney's completely different scene, but Barney's was fun back in those days.
Yes, it certainly was. It was it after the shows? How late would Barney's stay? I feel like it would stay open. No?
Barney's would stay open until about 2 or so.
Yeah.
But Barney's was a scene. I mean, everybody who was anybody in Hollywood would stop by Barney's at some point in those
but
days.
usually after a night of music or whatever, they would
or
go
after
there.
the shoot. After the shoot, when they'd wrap, they'd come down. Great bar, 300 beers, and it was quite a scene years ago. But Hollywood has changed over these years. You know that.
Yeah, just slightly.
Yep.
When are you part of ownership of one of these joints?
So in 1989,
okay,
I had my first operation. I bought my first operation in St. Louis. My second one was in Kansas City. I got up to 17. So I had 17 bars and restaurants.
How do you get from LA to St. Louis?
So it was an investment. I had a real estate deal in St. Louis Union Station at the time with a partner.
Yeah.
And whammo, my first restaurant wound up being in St. Louis Union Station.
In Missouri.
Yeah. It was actually called Lynn Dickey's Sports Cafe after the NFL quarterback.
Sure, of course.
The Green Bay quarterback. And suddenly I found myself in that business and I fell in love with it and I'm damn good at it.
Yeah.
I'm great at getting asses in seats and heads on pillows. That's my thing.
And did you have a mentor at any point? Or are you learning as you go?
Not really. I really sort of learned as I went.
Yeah.
And like you, Kevin, I'm one who has a great respect for the craft of excellence. The craft of management.
Right.
The craft of motivating people and changing people and inspiring people. So I learn every day, just like you.
When did the yelling start? Because it's an art form.
It is an art form. I never knew I had it.
Sure.
When I would do it, let's say you owned a bar and you called me to rescue your bar. It would take me a month, 6 weeks to do my rocket research, put together a design, a plan, the cocktails, the food. We're talking 4 to 6 weeks to get a job like that.
Yeah.
Bar rescue, they give me 4 days.
Which is insane.
So what happens is
whose idea was that? What was the
it was mine. I created the show originally, and I went and pitched it. So 4 days. So there's this clock ticking in my head every freaking minute.
It's a lot of pressure.
In real life, I'll give you time to come on board.
Yeah, less yelling when there's 4 to 6 weeks.
Of course, because you have time to get on the bus.
So are you saying
bar rescue? You're getting on that bus freaking now.
Are you saying you didn't discover your art form and ability to
scream,
lose your shit within inches of someone's face until you'd given yourself 4 days to reinvent the world?
Yes. Honestly, that's the truth.
Wow.
I'm actually pretty mellow.
Wow.
And I'm actually one who, my employees and people who would work with me would tell you I'm more of a motivator than a discipliner.
Right.
I want to inspire people. I want them to work really hard for me. And when they make mistakes, that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as your intentions are good.
Right.
Bar rescue put me in this pressure cooker.
Right.
Where if I didn't get accomplished day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, what I needed to,
right,
I'm going to fail on day 4. So think about this for a second, Kev. You're $400,000 in debt. You're 45 years old. You're living in your parents' basement.
Oh, I don't want to think
burned
about that.
their retirement.
Aye.
You have no money for your children. You've lost your house. Your wife is ready to kill you. And I show up and I have 4 days.
To change everyone's life.
That's serious shit.
Yeah.
Your life is on the line.
Yeah.
And I take that really seriously. So I will beat the shit out of you.
Emotionally.
Yes, to get you where you need to be on that 4th day.
Have fisticuffs ever been thrown?
I've been pushed a couple of times, but never fisticuffs.
Because you get pretty close into
the
people's
first 4
space.
seasons, I had no security. There was no security on set at all.
You're a big guy. Who's coming at you?
Yeah,
really?
but it's still so now I have a security guy who stands in the background. But no, I've never had any physical altercations. You know what I think is interesting, Kev? I think that people and understand that I'm well intended.
Yes.
I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Even at this moment when I'm cursing you out and screaming at you and throwing food on your shirt,
yeah.
I'm still trying to help you. I think that comes through even at those louder moments.
Yeah. Well, I must have watched, I don't know how many episodes, 100, before, and I don't know the chronological order, so this may be years now, but it was a bar not too far from, I want to say Long Beach, and he had a punk rock background.
Yes.
He was a punk guy who
and
had
I didn't run out of it.
Stage, and you brought in your crew, and two days in, or whatever of the 4 days you give yourself, you finally had enough of this guy and told you, and that was the first time I'd ever seen you actually.
Walked out on him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to perpetuate something that I think is irresponsible.
Yeah.
The way the guy treated his employees was irresponsible. The way he treated his customers was irresponsible. Right. You don't want to be a part of a shitty movie.
No,
you're right.
Right.
So you're going to walk out. You're not going to do that script. You know, to me, this guy wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm a really honest, straight shooter. If you're not worth it, then you're not worth it. I'm gone.
But I've seen you get pretty close to a similar precipice and break through on many occasions. Because they're all very stubborn people. Yep. The hardest thing for them to do is to accept defeat. They want your help, but they don't want to take the blame.
It's interesting, and I would ask you this question. I'm going to reverse this on you.
Sure.
Don't say names.
Okay.
You ever work for a director you didn't like?
Oh, yes.
But you did it for the fans, didn't you? You found your inspiration in the audience and something else.
Yeah.
So if the
I've done that on stage as a comedian. I think when I'm working as an actor, I'm thinking of the crew, and I'm thinking about everyone involved in the production more so.
Exactly like me. So let's say the owner is a complete asshole.
Yeah.
I'll do it for the employees.
Right.
I'll do it for the wife I didn't even meet, for the kid. So I have to find something to hang my hat on. Who the hell am I fighting for here?
That's right.
And when there's nobody to fight for, like that punk bar, the employees didn't care. The owner, there was nobody to hang my hat on. Who the hell am I fighting for?
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
So I got no fight when I'm fighting for no one.
Yeah. And I have to assume that even though you walk in on your crew who've got blueprints and they're halfway through the process and say, pack it up, we're going home, the way they look at you initially was such a sense of disbelief, almost as if we fans may not have been privy, but that similar moment had happened before where you felt like you were up against an unmovable object, came to your crew and said, I think we're going to have to go home. And once again, things somehow worked themselves out. Yeah. And this time it wasn't.
It didn't.
Yeah.
You know, being producer of my own show is a wonderful thing.
Sure.
Because I get to manage it moment by moment.
Oh, yeah.
And rather than creating the reality, I truly follow it. There's no scripts. There's no actors. Kev, on my mother's grave, there's none of that shit in Bar Rescue.
Right.
I am following a real story. I'm self-producing. I'm self-story producing.
Right.
As I go, I got to find that curve, that story. So when you look and you're hunting, I call it a fishing trip. Right, I go in fishing for the story, fishing for the issues. Sometimes you uncover something. For example, I did a bar in Chicago, the one I walked out before the one you saw.
Okay.
It's called The Dugout in Chicago. I called the owner Smilin' Ed because this guy did not smile ever. He was a complete ass. So I did my stress test like I do in Bar Rescue, and I said to him, Ed, here's the deal. In this stress test, I only need you to do one thing. In an hour and a half, I want you to fucking smile once.
Yeah.
He could not do it.
This was the one that was not too far from Wrigley?
That's correct. A block and a half from Wrigley. So that was one of my favorite because what I did is I still remodeled the bar.
Yes.
Because Chicago knew I was there.
Yes.
And I wasn't going to disappoint the city.
That's right.
And then I, in essence, gave the bar to the employees who walked away with me. And the owner stood there with no employees at the end.
I do.
He got what was coming.
Yeah, he did. He certainly did.
Yeah.
Sam, I think we need, I see a lot of mugs that I don't trust. Are we allowed to drink from them?
They just put these down.
Oh, did they? Are these usable? Because, you know, a mug left behind is never a good thing. But please have some water if you'd like.
Same with the mug shot. Not a good thing either.
Also, as it turns out, not great. All right, so I want to go back for a moment to you came up in the business, and thank you, and you figured out a handle on how to do what you do to a level of success. And you built up, I think you said 17 at one point, a number of venues.
Yep.
By delegating authority to several individuals, if you've got
building
17,
capacity and then delegating authority. You can't do one without the other.
Right. But you're leaving people behind to run.
Oh, sure. It's funny. When I had my 17, not one of them were in my home city. They were all in other cities.
By design?
No, it just worked because I was deal driven. If the deal was right and the market was right, I would do the deal. I wasn't hung up on doing it in my neighborhood.
Right.
So I got really good at managing a business in another city, which is a science unto itself.
Right.
Managing from a distance, managing numbers, getting interpretations over the phone rather than looking in someone's eyes, really difficult.
So this leads me to my curiosity of, before you decide to pitch this show, Bar Rescue, had you sort of become that same entity, gun for hire, where people would look you up and say, I've heard nothing but amazing things. We're in deep, deep shit here. Please come help.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I created my consulting company in '86.
Cheer. Wow.
That's how long ago. I've done about 800 projects for companies from Ritz-Carlton hotels to, I've worked with Universal Studios,
right.
Huge companies over the years, TGI Fridays, Buffalo Wild Wings, as well as, Joe's Bar.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So I have a great depth of experience in that corporate world,
right,
as well as in that independent world. And I like both. I'm very comfortable in both.
So when does it dawn on you, or does someone else suggest, you really ought to pitch this as a show?
So I'll tell you the story. It's a great story. I don't tell it very often. So I'm giving a keynote speech at a nightclub and bar convention. I'm a very popular speaker at these conventions.
I would think.
And somebody comes up to me and says, man, you should be on TV. You should do a show like Gordon Ramsay. Mm-hmm. So I go back to my house and I write up a 2-page write-up called originally On the Rocks.
Nice.
So I put together On the Rocks and I created a combination between Gordon's Kitchen Nightmares and Mission Impossible.
Nice.
So the premise of the show was I had a file like the Mission Impossible. I pulled out my mixologist. I pulled out my experts for that episode. Then I would go do it. I put the show together. I write it up and I go to a friend of mine who I won't say a name, who was running Paramount Television at the time.
All right, I probably know who that was.
And I say to him, what do you think, buddy? He says to me, John, you will never fucking be on television.
Thank God he said that.
You're too old. Mm-hmm. You're not good looking enough.
That's right.
It'll never freaking happen.
Right.
Well, I drive off the Paramount lot and I think to myself, I'm going to fucking make this happen.
Yeah, you are.
So I shot my own sizzle reel, 3 minutes long on Hermosa Beach, of pretty much me screaming at employees and blah, 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 put it together myself. Sent that sizzle reel to 4 production companies that, Kev, I had no relationship with any of them. I just emailed this 3.5 minute sizzle reel. Son of a gun, within 2 days, I got 4 phone calls from each company.
Yeah. And
the convention was going on in France. The TV convention. So I get a call from one company, 3 Ball Entertainment. Don't sign. We'll be back in 2 days. I went, wow.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like this before. I don't have an entertainment attorney. I don't have an agent. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to negotiate an
moxie. The kid's got moxie.
So I find some manager.
Right.
And I put it together and I sign a deal. Finally, I interview all 4 production companies. One offered me 95% of the back end, which I found out was bullshit. No network's going to do that. And I had all these different financial deals, and I made a decision probably like you would make, saying, you know what? I'm not going to make this decision based on money. I'm going to make this decision based on what I think is the best production company to build my brand.
Absolutely.
And at the time, 3 Ball Entertainment had The Biggest Loser. Mm-hmm. Hot network show, really well produced. So I signed with 3 Ball. I signed with 3 Ball. 4 days later, Spike picks up my show. Spike, which turned into Paramount Network.
4 days.
4 days later. So now I'm making a pilot 60 days later. I figure I'll make a pilot and go home. I figure I made it as far as I'm going to make it, so I make the pilot. And then they, and this is one of my favorite stories, then I'm waiting. They're supposed to pick up the pilot in September. No calls. October. No calls. Now it's the second week in November. I can't plan my life. Am I making the show or not? I have to be available. How do I make a living? So I go to Disney World with my wife for a couple of days just to get away from it all. While we're at Disney World, it's right before Christmas. It's November. We go to Disney World, and we're in Main Street, and the parade's going on. I get a phone call from 3 Ball Entertainment. I can't hear him because the parade is going. This
Very
could
loud.
be the call.
Very loud.
So I said, call me back in 15 minutes. So we leave the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
We take a boat to this beach, and I'm standing on this beach, and the phone rings again. And Todd Nelson, I swear to God, this is true, Kev. Todd Nelson from 3 Ball says to me, John, I got bad news. I said, what? He says, you're going to have to do 10 episodes. As soon as he said that, from the speaker in the ground, Jiminy Cricket said, your dreams can come true.
Get out of here.
And the freaking fireworks
Get
went
out
off.
of here.
So help me, God, I could not have produced it better. So now we go into production of the pilot of the series, and it became Bars on the Brink.
Okay.
Then it became Bar Rehab. Then finally it became Bar Rescue. So the show premieres, finished season 1, 10 episodes, season 2, 10 episodes, season 3, 40 episodes, season 4, 52 episodes. I'm a hardworking guy. Now we just are just in the middle of season 6. We're in the record books.
Yeah.
Show's generated about $500 million in revenue.
Sure.
It's on about 40 hours a week, which is unbelievable to me.
Truly unbelievable.
And it's turned into a reality show phenomenon. It's 8 years.
4 days.
And I'm so proud of it.
You should be. It's historical. 4 days per episode.
4 days per episode. So I shoot 4.
To get in there and physically do it. But then there's post-production.
This post-production. So what we'll do is we'll go in. I've never met them before. I don't look at casting reels. I don't do any of that. I let other people do it. I want it real.
Right.
So I've never looked them in the eyes before.
So there's a production company
Yes.
that has your back in every angle in terms of the prep.
Of course. Right. So they'll show up a day and a half before me.
Right.
They'll put all the microphones, they'll wire the building, all of that.
Sure.
We'll deceive them to create reality.
Right.
And one of my favorite tricks, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this, but I'm going to. One of my favorite
Only
tricks
4
is
people listening.
one of my favorite tricks is I'll hang extra lights in the bar.
Aha.
So what'll happen is my producer will go in and say, he went to another bar. Sorry, he's not coming here. We'll start pulling down some lights, and suddenly they start being themselves.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes they think
a
I'm coming
great
tomorrow.
trick.
I sneak in today.
Sure.
Sometimes they think I'm coming yesterday, so now I'm not coming. I come in tomorrow.
Right.
I have to fake it, believe it or not, to create the reality.
Well, they all know the show.
So exactly right. So by sneaking in on them,
Right.
We create these moments that are real.
Yeah.
So I've never met them. I go in, I do my recon, and the first day is about 2 hours. At the end of recon, and nobody knows this, at the end of recon, the cameras go off. I take all the employees in ownership. I put them in vans in the parking lot, and I go in and design the bar that night.
Get everybody
So
the
after
hell
recon.
out.
So I have my whole crew in there with me.
Right.
I come up with the concept that night. I pick these, columns and whatever it is, the
You're
attributes.
just making shit up right there on the spot.
I am. And we call it a 20-minute design.
Right.
I put it together that
All
day.
these instincts from 30 years doing it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
No different than your instincts when you
Sure.
you're doing your comedy, impressionistic work, whatever you do. So then day 2,
Yeah.
I sign off on everything, every bar stool, every paint color, every piece of wallpaper. But then I can only get stuff in 48 hours, so I can't get this. So now that doesn't work. I got to change this so the wallpaper no longer works because I can't get the stool. Then when I get the right wallpaper, the stool doesn't work anymore. So it's a nightmare to put this together in a day. So the second day is stress test. By the end of the second day, I have to have the logos done, the recipes done, the design done, everything ordered. So what people don't realize is off camera is a nightmare for me. 80, 90 emails approving this, approving that. It's tough because I'm producing it as I'm hosting it.
Yeah.
So day 3, we remodel someplace else so we can start. We train someplace else so we can start the remodeling. We do remodel it in 36 hours. Absolutely.
Right.
And then the 4th day, I reveal it. I'm off 2 days, and then I start over again after 2 days.
That's what I wanted to ask. You're off 2 days.
So I work 4.
Yeah.
We do 1 episode, off for 2, work 4, off for 2, work 4.
So how much can you be involved during post-production? Because although it's not scripted, and although it's not manipulated like most reality TV, in editing, and I will say this to you, having spent 10 months
in editing base,
directing my first film as a documentary, but I had 60 hours of interviews, and I had to turn this into 90 minutes and a story that didn't exist.
And you can manipulate story in post.
By the turn of a person's face, you can create a whole different emotional experience. How could you possibly have time to spend in post?
I do.
How?
So what I do is
They're sending you.
I don't sit in the editing bay.
Right, you can't.
We do typically 8 to 10 cuts per episode.
There you go.
I'll take a look at the rough cut.
Right.
I'll share my comments.
Right.
I'll take a look at the second, third, fourth. So I'm sharing my comments along with the network.
Sure.
And we work together. But I'm unique. I don't have a contract with the production company. My contract is direct with the network. So
They
partnered.
hired the production company?
So the production company is really accountable to the network and I.
Right.
And I do function as executive producer of the
Sure,
show for
obviously,
real. I'm a
yeah.
very active producer. It's my brand, Kev.
How many editors you fired? You don't have to name names.
Maybe 20 out of 180
clearly,
episodes.
because-
Story producers have come and gone.
Yeah.
The minute somebody tries to fake it
Right.
on my show, they're fucking gone.
Yeah.
I've shut the show down 4 times when producers have tried to fake it.
Right.
You know, and what's happened is over the years, I'm blessed because I've developed a great relationship with my network. They trust me. So they'll put up the money, they'll send the crew, and they have no idea what I'm going to build. They don't know what I'm doing until I
they
get
don't.
there.
They
So
don't.
it's really an uncomfortable thing for a production company to be in this void.
Yeah.
But it took years to develop the relationship that we have that allows me to have the freedom to take the show where I want to take it every week. It's a great thing to be able to control your own show to that level.
Well, this is the best thing that show business can offer, is the level of input and control that you're talking about that doesn't exist for 99.9% of the participants.
And I'm not sure I'd still be doing the show if I didn't have that, to tell you the truth.
I don't think you would.
Yeah, because I believe in it so much, and I know that I can tell a story well,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah.
and have no regrets.
Well, you say 52 episodes was the last order. That's the number of weeks in a year. So how long are you actually taking to shoot?
I shot about 14 months to do those 52 episodes. Outrageous. Too much.
Yeah.
So now what I've done is I've modified my contract to 35 per year. You know, it's
Still,
tough.
that's a ridiculous
You got to have
amount.
a life. Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount. So I just launched a new show.
Of course you did.
I can't tell you the name of it.
All right.
But Paramount wanted to develop a new vehicle for me. So we created a relationship-driven show.
Oh.
And it's about personal relationships, no bars, no bricks and mortar, none of that. So they created it for me, no pilot. We went straight into series. And I just came back from 8 weeks in Puerto Rico shooting the new show. We'll announce it in a week or so. I'll let you know as soon as I know.
That's unbelievably exciting.
So that premieres in May.
Wow.
And it's a whole new show on Paramount. So it's rare that a network will create a show for you and then not even go to pilot, go straight to series.
Well, I will tell you why they do that.
Tell me.
It's quite rare to have an investment in any creative body entity and have it reach a level of success that you can actually count on.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably rare. It's way
I've
less.
become a commodity in television
exactly
after 8
right.
years.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful. So I got a lot of offers to do a lot of television projects, and anything that's honest, I consider.
Right.
So there's another one that I'm working on called Beat the Boss, where it's a conflict resolution show where I even the playing field between the powerful and the unpowerful.
Wow.
And I love anything that has to do with us as people.
Right. Well, but without giving too much away, they create a show that's relationship driven. Are you saying between spouses, between couples?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And they thought you would be a good referee.
I feel like I'm on to tell the truth. Yes.
That's right. It's 21 questions. You can't give me any details. You can only give me a yes or no. I'm unbelievably excited about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was quite an experience for me, actually. And I had to learn all the planks of a relationship and the 6 elements of a great relationship and what defines and how do relationships break down. So I had to do a lot of homework for this. The bar business, I know.
Yeah.
The relationship business, I think I know, but I had to know I know.
But how the hell do you have time?
I make time. You know, as we're sitting here, I have a new mixer line that's launching in Walmart in May. I have a carbonated alcoholic seltzer line that premieres this summer. I have Jon Taffer Pro Cafes opening in Home Depots around the country.
What does that mean?
It's a little cafe inside of a Home Depot hardware store called Jon Taffer's Pro Cafe.
And what happens there?
You can get a hot dog. You can get a breakfast sandwich.
I see.
It's a food operation, almost like the restaurant in a Costco.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. I'm building a resort in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Because
I can. But I'm very active in non-TV. I have a company based in Las Vegas. We have a consulting business, a management business. And you know, it's interesting. People think you go into TV, you're going to make a shitload of money.
Right.
The problem is when you're in TV, you can't do other things. TV is so invasive. It's 24 hours a freaking day between pre-shooting and post-production.
Yeah.
So my challenge is, how do I continue to make TV and do my other projects? When I just make TV, I make less money.
Yeah.
Than I do not making TV.
I was sort of
and I do well making TV, don't get me wrong. But my point is, you know, time is money, and TV takes a lot of it.
Too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to balance that a little better, hence down to 5 episodes rather than the 50 I used to do.
Right. And are you currently shooting? Or done shooting?
I'm on hiatus now. I start Wednesday. So I starting 12 more episodes
of the 35.
Of the 35. My commitment this year is for 35.
Right.
We shot 6 of the new show.
Okay.
I'm shooting 12 bar rescues now. That's 18. And a network can choose which of the 2 shows they want for the next 12.
Wow.
That's 30.
Again, rarefied air.
Rarefied air.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of the fact that, you know, I came into this in my 50s. I'm not in the TV
Which another
business.
thing is a bizarre aspect.
I'm not in the television business, you know. I don't, and you know, I just I recognize I'm good at it,
right?
And I hold an audience, and the show is evergreen. And I wish I could tell you this was by design, Kev. It wasn't.
No,
it's just, you know, moment to moment, just doing it, showing up, and doing your best.
All right, so let's get into.
Did you ever think you'd be such a great actor?
I didn't think I'd be a great actor. I was a natural born ham who got a lot of attention at a very, very young age for being a natural born ham. You know, schoolmates and getting out of trouble at school, and then lip syncing a comedy album as an act all through junior high and high school, and then I'm performing in nightclubs as a stand up at 17, and I always thought that I would become an actor, but I had no training, no interest in taking an acting class. Wasn't a big fan of school as an institution of learning. I
think life is the best educator.
I chose the School of Hard Knocks from the beginning. Without knowing what that actually meant.
I went to college for a year at University of Denver and spent the whole time in Aspen skiing.
Yeah.
So
I like to tell people I also graduated from university in 9 months. My friends called it dropping out, but I felt like I had.
For you, it was a graduation.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was already working in clubs.
And it wasn't what you were leaving, it's what you were going to.
That's right.
That's not a dropout.
No. Yeah. It felt like high school with ashtrays. Right. That's what university, because I wasn't devoted to higher learning. Yeah. But in terms of no turning back, you know, fortunately, I didn't have the kind of parents who said, well, you should have an education, you have something to fall back on. They sort of saw this kid very young who seemed singular in his interests and desires, but also had something that people were reacting to.
Connectivity.
Yeah, that's not a bad word for it.
No.
And that it was easy for them to kind of get out of the way.
So I think you and I were alike. I would get in trouble when I was a kid, but I was cute enough and had a personality enough to get the hell out of it all the time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, people used to say, Taffer, you only got past the 8th grade because I like you. Because it wasn't the work that I did that got me past it.
Right.
I think you and I are similar.
So
we got a lot of attention when we were young. Were you the clown? Were you the joker?
In the yearbook, class clown.
Yeah, me too.
But now...
I was the most likely in my college yearbook not to live past 21.
Come on.
I swear to God.
Come on.
I was the most likely not to live past 21.
Well, congratulations.
Kev, I made it.
Congratulations on that. But who is inspiring you from the world of... entertainment, music, movies, comedians, anyone when you were younger in Long Island?
Well, you know, when I was younger, the business people really inspired me. My grandfather was a big impact on me. My grandfather invented direct mail.
What?
Yeah, my grandfather actually invented direct mail.
Did he ever explain how and why?
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. My grandfather was 14 years old. Somebody gave him a little hand printing press with the letters that you stick in it. And he got the idea. His father was half blind and had a newspaper stand in Brooklyn on a corner. It's absolutely true, the story I'm telling you.
I've seen that character in movies.
So my grandfather, when he was 14, got the idea to get paper and print up a flyer for a business and stick it in his father's newspapers on the corner. So little did he know he was inventing newspaper inserts.
Yes.
So he would print these pieces of paper with just the block letters from his little hand-press printer, and he would stick them in his father's newspapers. And then he sold advertising to people for this. Now he had 3, 4, 5 newspaper stands going. In the morning he's going and he's stuffing all the newspapers, and he's doing that all day long, and he has now a couple of friends helping him. Before you know it, he has now Cub Scouts dropping these flyers in mailboxes in apartments in Brooklyn. They start writing down addresses. They start mailing them to addresses. And he has a little storefront in Brooklyn doing this. And one of the largest advertising agencies in the world was a company called New Era on Park Avenue. New Era bought my grandfather's company, rolled it into their agency, and he created the direct marketing industry, direct mail. And he gets credit for it. So, I grew up around a very innovative grandfather business and excellence and thinking out of the box and being creative was very, very,
and
very
creating your own
thing.
destiny.
Creating my own destiny. I'm not a believer in letting somebody else create my destiny for me. I'm like you in that way.
Yeah.
I want to control this myself. If I fail, it's going to be because of me.
Right.
Not because of somebody else. And I'll own that failure.
Yeah.
But I can't fail if I don't own it.
Well, 10 years ago when we started this show, I also created this sort of mantra: if you're not creating, you're waiting.
I love that.
Yeah, because performers are used to waiting for the phone to ring with the next job.
Yeah.
So why not be more proactive?
Do a podcast, do your comedy, do your impressionistic work. Makes perfect sense. See, you're just like me.
Yeah, diversify.
Every day I wake up and I'll find something new to do and spread out. You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. So my last book was called Don't Bullshit Yourself.
Great.
Cut the excuses that are holding you back. And you'll relate to this. So when I wrote this book, I said to myself, after 160 bar rescues, I found the common denominator of failure. I found it. And it's so freaking simple.
Bullshit.
The common denominator of failure is an excuse. See, my business is failing because of Trump. My business is failing because of the euro in Greece. My business is failing because of my mother. It's the weather. It's the construction. As soon as you blame something else for your failure, you have no reason to change, do you?
Right.
Because it's their fault.
That's right.
So I wanted to write a book that destroyed the excuses in life. So I wrote Don't BS Yourself, and I picked the 6 biggest excuses in life. Fear is a big one.
Sure.
Right? We don't do something because we're scared, but millions of people have already done that. The fear is bullshit.
Yeah.
You're scared of something other people have already done.
Right.
The next one, I love it, is ego. You notice the guy with the biggest ego always has the smallest wallet?
Yes.
Right? The other one is scarcity. Oh, I don't have the money. Tell that to Stephen Jobs in his garage when he created Apple. Or I love the one where not only do scarcity, but I don't have time.
I don't have time.
Oh, that's the biggest one in y'all.
Yeah.
You have time to do anything that's important to you, Kevin, don't you?
Yeah.
So if you don't have the time, it just wasn't important enough. If you
make
wanted
the
a purple
time.
shirt tonight, you'd fucking find that shirt.
That's exactly right.
So, these are excuses that paralyze us.
Yeah.
And it's the same way of what you were saying.
Yeah.
So you got to so I wrote a book that destroy these fucking excuses. So when you're done reading the book, you don't have these anymore. They don't work.
And again, this is all stuff you discovered on your own.
It is. And, that excuse thing is so freaking powerful. And I've never, in 180 bar rescues, I've never had somebody answer the question, why are you failing? Well, gee, John, I'm failing because of me.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
There's always another reason other than them.
No one has ever said, I'm not terribly good at this.
Right. So I have to make them own their failure. That's where the pressure comes.
Yes.
I'm going to force you to own this failure.
Right.
I am not going to let you deflect it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you blame it on. This is your fucking fault. Own it.
Right.
They don't like that.
No.
So they push back big time, and that begins the tension between us is my desire to make them own failure. And you'll love this line. You'll steal this from me.
Okay.
I believe if you own your failure, then you'll own your success.
Sam, did you write that down, please? If
You're writing,
own
Sam?
Your failure, you'll own your success.
Sam, I don't know if this applies to you or not. It was interesting when I said that, how Kevin immediately looked at you.
Well, so you're... the thing about when I very early on, I wanted to ask you, and not just poking the bear, about yelling at people and getting in their space and the comfort level with your mission that must take. You say your objective is to help these people and the people who work for these horrible people, the lives that horrible person is destroying by not giving a shit or by building.
Family, employees, you bet.
It's a lot of family.
Yep.
And also it's always amazing to me because I'm not a huge fan of confrontation. My feeling
By the way, nor am I.
Well,
I'd much rather go through life without it.
Yeah, but there's no manufacturing the level of confrontation that you're having on the show. One of the things I'll be honest with you, as a fan of the show, that's very easy to dial right in on, is the actual reality as opposed to most reality TV.
Yeah, you can't fake that.
No, you can't. No. And so,
matter of fact, the biggest insult anybody can ever say to me is your show is fake.
Yeah.
Freak, because I try so hard so it's not.
Right.
That, that's the ultimate slap in the face to me that they don't see how real it is.
Yeah. Most men, because of the inbred pride, can't handle another man yelling at them at the level with which and the freedom with which you have.
Sometimes in front of their wives, in front of their children.
Yeah, and you see it on the show. Their defenses come up, and the last thing they're going to do is, in their minds, give you satisfaction, when in fact, all you're trying to do is help them.
Those are powerful moments. I'm trying to shock you into reality.
Yeah.
And there's a method to my madness. I'll start with fear.
Right.
Actually, I tend to start with pride. Right? How about if this place was great and you made money? Wouldn't your wife be proud of you? But so I try to inspire you through pride. Right. Once that doesn't work, then I start to go into fear. What happens when you fucking lose your house? What happens when your wife leaves you? How do you like saying no to your children all freaking day long? And I'll play to fear. Yeah. I got to shock you to change you.
Right.
So sometimes I appear angry and I'm much more deliberate. I'm trying to shock him.
Sometimes you look like a man that no longer has control of his faculties. That's how angry you look.
Yeah, never is that the case.
But it's uncanny.
Yeah.
How? Because
I get out of the scene, I move through it, and so I use these shocking moments to shock them to reality.
I mean, I what also comes through is that you have not only enough knowledge to know that and experience to have a genuine level of anger based on the stupidity and inability and ineptness that's taking place in front of you. So there's a natural frustration of stop doing it the way you're doing it, allow me to help you, and also get out of your own way.
What also is interesting is when I tell them your bar's dirty, your food sucks, your drinks suck, your employees hate you, I'm not the first person to tell them this.
Right.
They've heard this before.
Yeah.
But this time they better fucking hear it.
Yes. But you can also tell when
Which means I have to get loud.
Yeah.
I have to be direct.
Right.
I have to embarrass them. I must be impactful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that talking in a soft voice like this.
No.
I have to get dynamic. I have to get animated. My arms have to start going. My body has to start going. You got to know that this is serious and that there's going to be consequences for you.
Yes.
If you don't open your fucking mind.
Yeah. But it's amazing also you talk about the bad food and the unclean environment. Some of the guys in the kitchen, when there's a cook, when there's an actual person, and you can just see it in their face. They've been getting away with murder for a long time.
But that's the one thing that gets me. How dare them get you sick?
Yeah.
How fucking dare them?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that drives me nuts. And that's that responsibility issue.
Right.
If I'm going to go into a business that you're putting something in your body, I have a responsibility to you.
Yeah.
To follow procedures that keep you safe.
Wow.
And if I don't, that's not fucking business. That's morality.
Yeah.
That's ethics.
Yeah.
And that infuriates me. You want to lose money, that's up to you.
Right.
You want to get somebody sick, that's not.
No, yeah. And by the way, all of that is, again, completely organic to the situation. You come in.
Well, the owner creates that tempo.
Yeah.
If they're assholes, then I am.
Right.
If they're more mellow than I am.
Right.
They really set the tempo. And whatever works in changing them is what I'll do.
Right.
Sometimes it's a lot of back padding.
So what do you do
it's handholding.
when you go into one of these places and instead of the energy and the tempers and the defensiveness rising, it actually sort of shuts down and you're getting a numb reaction from, and not just from drunk bar owners, which is the case often.
So second episode I shot in Bar Rescue was in Orange County, California. And the story was that there was an older man who owned this bar. His daughter's 35 years old. He's in his 70s. He's an old, nasty guy. It's time for him to retire and give the bar to his daughter. So I'm going to go into this bar. This man does not want to leave this bar. He does not want to give it to his daughter. This is his life.
Yeah.
That's the story. This is the second episode I ever done, so I wasn't quite in control of it as I am today. So the producers tell me, Jon, when you go tell him that he's got to give the bar to his daughter, he's going to freak out. He's not going to like it. Okay, that's all I know. So I go I meet him, I meet his daughter, I sit down in the office, I look at him and say, listen, you got to retire and give this bar to your daughter. He says, okay. 2 minutes into the episode. So, I can't stop the cameras.
No.
I can't go talk to the producers. The minute the cast in that bar thinks that I'm playing to the camera, I'm a dead man.
Yeah.
The minute they think they're accountable to a producer, not me, I'm a dead man.
That's right.
So this must be real.
Right.
So at that moment, I have to make this real and deal with it and challenge him and take control. So what I did is it took me about an hour of searching, and I found his security disc, his video disc. And on that disc, I saw him slap a waitress in the ass. As soon as I saw that, I went and talked to the waitress. Were you offended when he slapped you in the ass? Yes, I was. Great. Staff meeting. How dare you offend your employee? And it turned into a great freaking episode.
Yeah.
But it wasn't at all the episode we thought.
Right.
And those were the early days of learning bar rescue.
Yeah.
Story producers are 23 years old.
Sure.
Sorry, all you story producers listening. And they don't know shit about life because they're too young.
They haven't lived it.
And if I trust their opinions, I'm going to fail.
Sure.
I listen to what they say, and then I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to go in and fish for the story myself, because whatever they find, I can find something better.
Yeah. And you'll find something that suits your needs.
And something that's really honest.
Yeah.
The real truth of the story.
Right.
And it's not a dirty bar. It's why is the bar dirty?
Yes.
Why do you not care? Why is this acceptable to you? Where is your fucking pride?
Yeah,
Where's your response? That's the story.
It's unbelievable how much these people hold on to the original name. That's always the tough one.
Oh, they change it back the next day sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Drives me nuts.
I
Kevin.
love the follow-up story, even if it's just a couple sentences at the end.
Yeah.
And Jamie, my better half again, who inspired all of my knowledge and devotion to your show and you.
So everything that's good in you, she has a part of it.
No question about it. That's what a good woman does for any less than good man.
My Nicole is the same way.
Yeah. How long have you been together?
We've been together 23 years.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Nice going.
Yeah.
So she'll Google sometimes what happens to these people afterwards. Yeah. And it is pretty amazing when things continue to go well for these people.
There's an independent website called Bar Rescue Updates.
Oh, right. She told me about
that was originally created, I think, to assassinate me more than anything else.
Of course
right?
it was.
We hate reality stars. It's all fake, blah, blah, blah. Well, years later, it's turned into a legitimate site. They do before and after Yelp scores, and they give me a fair review.
Yes.
They have me tracking at about 70% success. So
Which is
really
insane. That's insane.
Compared to other business transformation shows,
but in this particular,
they're at 20-30% my peers. But I'm very proud of that number.
You have to be, because 80% of the bars and restaurants in Los Angeles alone closed within the first year. 80%.
And think of what they tell me, they're broke, Kev.
Yeah.
They say it, I have enough money to make it 3 more weeks.
Right.
What people watching don't know is, wait a minute, when a guy says he has enough money to make it 3 weeks, he can't get deliveries. He's on COD. He's behind on his taxes.
Right.
He probably hasn't paid his rent. The creditors are knocking on his door. How do I turn that around?
Right.
I got to create serious cash flow before the IRS shuts him down. The landlord puts a notice on his door. The deliveries stop coming. There's a whole pressure to this that's past what people see in Bar Rescue.
What about the one somewhere in Vegas? I think it was in Vegas, where the guy was holding on to the history and the color of the wallpaper.
And then I figured out a way to keep his wallpaper and still make the bar cool.
You did. Yeah. That's such a great episode.
That had the mafia guy sitting at the front door.
Everybody loved him.
Sitting at the bar. Quite a colorful guy.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about Bar Rescues. I never know what I'm walking into.
Yeah.
It's different every week.
Every bar has its own.
So different.
They've done their own casting.
Yeah. And when you really think about it, Bar Rescue is so simple. It's very Shakespearean. Person in trouble, resists change, starts to transform, redeems themselves, happy ending.
Yeah.
It's as Shakespearean as it gets.
Right.
And then when you really start to pick apart the story, and I'm not diminishing my show, I'm very proud of it, it's really only two stories. Asshole owner, good employees. Good owner, asshole employees.
Right.
It's really always one of those two things. But there's such human drama.
Yeah.
And you're not there to watch the bricks and mortar in a remodel. You're there to watch the human element of the show.
Right.
And I learned a couple of years ago, Bar Rescue is not about bars at all. It's just about people.
That's exactly right.
Struggles, transformation.
Yeah. As you're
stepping
watching
up.
the show, you're trying to figure out which member of the team, which waitress, which manager, which security guy is going to be the complete fuck up, and which one you're going to root for and want you to accomplish your goal just for that one or multitude.
And sometimes the owner's a complete ass, but the employees are great.
Yeah.
And
They're so happy.
And I'll fight for those employees, even if the owner's a jerk. I'm okay with that. I need somebody to fight for. I've even had bad employees, a bad owner, but I know the wife is home with a 2-year-old baby.
Yeah.
I've never met her. I've never seen the kid, but I'm going to fight for them.
Wow.
I got to have something to fight for, or it's not real to me, Kat.
Sure.
And that's when I walk out.
That's great, man. So you've been at this now 6 years?
8.
8 years.
Actually,
And
9 now.
And so what is your take on show business as a profession? Because like it or not, you're a card-carrying member.
You know, it's interesting. I never thought of myself as a TV guy.
Right.
Even now, sometimes I'm sitting with the network in the meeting and say, listen, guys, this is your business. What do you think? And they look at me and they laugh and say, what are you talking about, man? You've been on television 9 years. You're #1 show in the network. How do you not think of yourself in the business? You know, it's hard for me because it came in life.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a TV celebrity. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I have a very long-running show. I'm not sure I know why. I'm really myself.
You're not sure you know why the show's successful?
Well, I think it's successful because of me. I get that. And I connect with people. I think it's successful because of honesty. But I didn't work at this. I just was myself.
Yeah. Well, the part you're allowed to not know is with the best abilities, right intentions, and the best show design and all the things that you have going for yourself, you're still going to fail 90% of the time just because it's a numbers game.
Absolutely.
We've only got so much time to watch anything.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to be mystified or less than sure why the show is a historical success. But don't diminish the ridiculous success by even suggesting
Thank you.
that you're not sure what the attraction is. In fact, you were just making it crystal clear, and you're taking yourself out of the equation. Each bar has been cast before you arrive, and then we follow you. We live through
It's my journey.
Yeah, your fishing expedition to find the people or person to care about in this establishment. Listen, we're with you, right?
Yeah.
So when you fall in like or emotional connection with any of these people, we're right there for the ride.
Yeah,
we're counting on you to choose the right winner.
I never looked at it that way.
Well, you can't be a fan of your own show.
Right.
What Jamie likes to do when I host a weekly poker game is she'll put up one of my movies on the TV screen downstairs, not too far from the poker room. So it looks like as everyone arrives, I've been sitting there watching myself on TV. That's her favorite thing in life.
You a good poker player?
Yes, sir.
Really? Very good poker player?
I may have gotten further in the World Series of Poker main event than any alleged celebrities since it blew up in 2003 when Chris Moneymaker changed the game. Yeah.
Because Daniel Negreanu and a bunch of these guys are good friends.
Daniel Negreanu is a texting pal of mine as well. Well, he's a big movie buff, so, anybody from the film business.
Well, we sit next to each other in Golden Knights hockey games.
It is. I know he's a Canuck, and it's one of the great things. And you'll love this even more about Jamie Foxx, my better half, from Pittsburgh, cares way more about her Penguins than the Steelers. Not even close.
Our Penguins a great history, great team.
Sid the Kid. Can I tell you my one hockey story?
Oh, I can't wait.
So I'm born in San Francisco, raised in San Jose. Moved back to San Francisco when I was about 20 to take on stand-up full-time. So my whole existence, there's no hockey in Northern California, in the Bay Area. When there's no
now
sport,
San Jose, but not when you were young.
Sure, which I give my friends shit about as they're new fans of this team because we didn't grow up with this, and they're full of shit. So if you grow up not knowing something about a sport like that, then you have no rooting interest.
Right.
Right? All professional sports are regional. We pretend to care about the Super Bowl, but really because it's a betting opportunity. So if I had no education at all, I meet Jamie. She cares more about her Penguins, and she's telling me what she likes about them. And I start to see a couple of games on TV, and I'm starting to understand it. But I'm hearing from people, live hockey game is the greatest experience of any sport, somehow better than highlight. So we're going to go back to see her family at Thanksgiving in Pittsburgh, and I book us tickets on the glass at the Igloo to see the Penguins play. And we get our seats. She's thrilled. She's never been on the glass. There's a referee there named Pollock who keeps slamming up against the glass in front of us. That was weird. And in this game, which was Saturday after Thanksgiving, Sid the Kid gets a hat trick. And all the hats go on the ice, and I'm the asshole that turns to her and says, "Why is everyone throwing their hats on the ice?" That's how little I know about the game. She explains it. I'm the asshole. 1 year to the day, we go back to see her family for Thanksgiving. I get us tickets on the glass for that Saturday game. Sid the Kid gets another hat trick. My hat first on the ice.
Ah, you learned.
Now, as a Jew, the disclaimer is it was hat night. So it wasn't like it cost me anything.
Was it a wholesale hat?
It was a free hat.
Okay, because you wouldn't throw a retail hat out there being a Jew. Okay.
I wouldn't, exactly. But I don't even know if that's statistically possible. 1 year to the day, another hat trick. I mean, it was insane. It was
unbelievable.
Insane. Yeah.
So you like hockey now?
Yes, of course. But I only like the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'll only watch them play. And, it's all vicariously through her. And I give my friends shit for rooting for the San Jose Sharks because we didn't grow up with hockey, and they're pretending they know what's happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who was your team?
Well, I grew up in New York, so I was a Rangers fan originally.
Sure,
but we have unbelievable Golden Knights fever in Vegas. I mean, first season make it to the Cup was really an incredible year.
Well, your goalie came from
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was pretty great.
Yes.
A few.
Tell Jamie thank you.
Oh, yeah. A few acquisitions might have.
Yes.
It's just brilliant, though, to get them to play that well together that quickly.
In the first year. I mean, it's a great story,
It really is.
Of human connection and a dynamic and something that we just don't see in life.
Yeah.
It's exciting when it happens.
And were you involved from the beginning like Negreanu was?
Well, I was one of the first season ticket holders, really into it in the beginning. Right. I do videos in a Jumbotron for the team.
Nice. That's great.
I'm doing a charity dinner with some of the players to raise money for Golden Knights charities.
Great.
So I'm very involved in it.
Yeah.
I love my city. I love being involved. I'm involved in Ronald McDonald House. I'm on the board of Cleveland Clinic of Nevada, and I'm involved in a lot of charity work. That is very rewarding to me.
Well, we're going to exchange numbers, and if there's anything I can ever do to help you, and I mean it sincerely, please let me know.
Same here, Kevin. You're a great guy, buddy. You're a great guy.
Well, you know half the story. But
I know the good half.
Thank you. Okay, so now this is a portion of the show we call Ask Kevin. You're allowed to ask me any question. It can be silly, it can be sincere, it can be neither. It doesn't matter which, but you're allowed one question.
One only.
Well, it could be a follow-up. We'll see how it goes.
Fill in this word for me.
Okay.
I'm a great actor because.
Okay, pretty good.
Not bad?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's already in the top 3 of all time. 400 episodes. First of all, I would never use I would never say
that's why it was
those
interesting.
Words.
But I'm forcing you to say that.
Well, the only thing I can do is what I think is the most. I'm going to keep bringing it back to you, but is the most compelling aspect of your show, which is I can be believable and present in a moment, and that's pretty much it for me. I never want to get caught acting. I tend to be pretty bored after take 3 because then I feel like I'm acting.
Right. It's not natural.
Yeah. I had this natural thing to be actually present in the moment.
You can feel it when you watch you.
Yeah?
You can feel it when you watch you.
Right.
So again, I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
You're a great actor because?
I'm present.
You're present. That's a great answer. You know why? When I talk to the network and they say to me, John, you got a great show, blah, blah, blah. You know why they tell me? You are so present.
Really?
They tell me the same freaking thing. They tell me when you're in reality, you listen to what they say.
Yes.
You are in that moment. You are completely present. That's the word they use for me.
That's the hardest thing in the world.
It is.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky the cameras disappear for me. Do they disappear for you?
I don't see them.
Me neither.
You know, it's,
So they could be 20 cameras in a room.
Yeah.
It's you and me.
Right.
And I look in each other's eyes. I don't know anything else. And that's
Right.
a blessing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's the same for you, because if we notice those cameras, it's hard to be natural.
yeah. And on do you have people Steadicam handheld
Oh,
cameras?
I have 4 robos built into the bar.
That's what I
And then
thought.
4 shoulders.
You do have 4 shoulders.
So we have 8 cameras going.
Right. But I didn't know how many people were actually moving around in your peripheral. While
Oh no, I have 4 shoulders.
That's a lot of distraction.
Tell you a funny story.
Please.
One of the first episodes we did was in Philadelphia for a chef whose brother had killed his mother.
Perfect.
5 days earlier to the day on Mother's Day. I arrive in his restaurant. He lives in an apartment upstairs. He hadn't put on his chef coat in 5 years since his brother shot his mother. He put it on that day because he knew I was coming. So I'm sitting with him, and this is a very emotional situation.
Sure.
And I'm trying to get him to let go and talk to me and get it out. And all these cameras, 4 cameras are around us at the table. I knew that he was sitting in front of a robo camera built into the wall. I looked at the cameraman. I said, guys, get out of here. I want to talk to him alone. And I chased all 4 cameras out of the room.
Great.
He was sitting in front of the RoboCam, and I got the best scene I had ever gotten. So I get the scene about, the crying, and I get the whole family story, and it's a very emotional scene. Then the 2 of us stand up, and we go walking up the stairs, and he says to me, I knew there was a camera there.
Jesus.
But he didn't know it till after the fact. And when those 4 those big cameras are in your face, it's intimidating.
Yeah, of course.
So moving those away, again, I have to fake it to get the reality.
Right.
And get it out of people. That was one of the most powerful moments I ever had on Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
Was when he opened up and I realized that episode was one of my first ones. Shit, I can change somebody's life.
Right. That's pretty powerful.
It was pretty powerful. And, the end of the story, I'll never forget it, was when I said to him, you know what, when you're a soldier and you're running through the battlefield and the explosions are going off all over you and you make it out the other side, what are you? And his answer was, a hero. I said, exactly.
Wow.
And at that moment, it became positive to him that he survived that in his life.
Right.
And he realized that he was a hero for his family. It changed everything.
Wow.
And those moments are really powerful for me. And that's why I do it. After 180 bar rescues, Kev, it's not easy. And you'll relate to what I'm saying. You make a movie, when you're finished with the movie, 2 things happens. You get the hug, if you will, from your fans.
Sure.
And you get a check.
Right.
The hug means far more to me.
Yeah.
At the end of each bar rescue, when they hug me, you don't hear what's said because the microphones are on our chests.
Right, it's all
and
covered
we're
up.
up against each other. The things that they say into my ears, Kevin, you changed my life.
Yeah.
Thank you. My kids, thank you. Are so inspirational. I can't wait till next week.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
gave
that's-
up on the money long ago.
Well,
it's
that
really about
reward-
that hug.
That reward doesn't happen to most employed individuals ever in their lifetime.
It's so inspirational.
You're getting it every episode.
I am. It feels so freaking good.
Well, to make
I just
a
can't wait
difference,
till the next one.
Yeah, to make a difference, a historical life change in these people's lives for the better.
And I get the letters after the fact and the
my
notes and pictures of the kids. And
Right.
it's just so rewarding.
Yeah, of course.
I've never done anything in my life that is so gratifying. And it has
No.
nothing to do with money or
Right.
fame or any of that. I don't like fame, to be honest with you. Do you?
When I need
A seat in a restaurant, it's great.
something, when I need to, something
But
that I
generally
would
speaking, in your
not.
day-to-day life, do you enjoy fame?
Well, what's interesting is the same little ham bone that started the whole thing, who wanted attention, right? Comedians, actors, performers, we all want attention. But the moment we actually get it in a one-on-one situation, we just crumble with humility. I'll look down, thank you very much. It's very kind. Because I don't actually know how to react to.
Happened to me so late in life when I first got recognized. You say, wow, he knows who I am. Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
8 years later, fuck, he recognizes me. It's a complete reversal of the way you look at it.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes when they're doing the math.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than our business. And you ask me, what do you think of the entertainment business? You and I get hugged by America almost every day.
It's ridiculous.
There's nothing that feels better than this.
No, that's why if you ever hear an actor or performer complain about anything, just slap them for about a day and a half.
I agree.
All right, it's time for Kevin's pop quiz.
Oh boy, here we go.
There are 3 questions between 5 and 15 points available for each of the 3 questions. Once we finish, the score will be tabulated and put up on our top 100 list.
Okay, I'm under pressure right now. Here we go.
3 questions.
Okay.
Here we go. Question number 1.
Yep.
Keith David or David Keith?
Keith David.
Correct. Question number 2. Carl Weathers or the weather in Carlsbad?
Carl's Weather.
Correct. Question 3. Steve?
Win.
That's a perfect score. Look how happy Sammy is. Oh, my God. You go to the top list, top 10.
I'm in there, Sam?
Yeah.
So do I get a certificate? Do I get a dinner? What the fuck do I get out of this?
That's exactly right.
I get your handshake.
You get my appreciation and lifelong devotion to you and your ability and your charm and your love and your gift to mankind.
I will take that.
Yes.
That is a great gift.
Honestly and truly, thank
Worth
you.
the effort. My pleasure. What a pleasure to meet you, Kevin. You know, I watched you on film. I've watched your comedy. I watched you on YouTube last night, preparing for today. Your work is fantastic.
Some of it.
And I'm sorry to hear that you're leaving this because, I think that this is your way to inspire us, too. And to share your insides with us in a really powerful way. But I get it. It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years, and it's a library of 400 of these interviews, and it's meant the world to me that this has actually happened. And you never say never, and no one knows what tomorrow brings. But if nothing else, it's going to be a lengthy hiatus.
You know what the best part of the podcast is to me? And I have my podcast.
This started with me coming on yours or you coming on this one. Right. So when you need me for that, I'm happy to do it.
You know what's amazing is the friendship we create in these moments. We spend a half hour, 45 minutes together, and we're really friends after.
That's right.
And the greatest part of doing this is all the friends that I've made over the years. When we look in each other's eyes and talk like this, we have a bond.
It is a strange thing because we're not aware of the number of people that are ultimately going to listen to this when we're having the conversation. Right. We're aware that Sam, everyone's favorite engineer, has a piece of glass between us. But otherwise, when are we going to get a chance to sit down and talk for 40 minutes with, at very least, a waiter not stopping by and saying, what can I get you?
Yep.
So thank you for that.
It's been a pleasure, buddy. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Sit there uncomfortably, please, while I wrap things up for the folks at home. That's Jon Taffer, ladies and Jews. Bring those paws together. Bar Rescue. 180 episodes and more coming. It's a historical event that's taken place, and we got a little peek into the world today, and I thank Jon Taffer for that. Live show, the last one, March 2nd at Dynasty Typewriter Theater. If you happen to be in the Los Angeles area, I would get those tickets soon. Just go to dynastytypewriter.com, maybe. Sure, sounds right. And get yourself a ticket to Pamela Adlon, the wonderful creator and star and director of her own damn show on the FX network called Better Things. Maybe I play her brother on the show for a couple episodes. It's no big fucking deal. It's just what I do. Somebody needs, and I'm there. That drops the end of February. Check your local things.
Can I add something?
Please.
So March 2nd is your last live show, big event.
That's right.
March 3rd, the next day, begins new episodes of Bar Rescue, Sunday night on Paramount Network.
Is that true?
Next day, March 3rd.
3rd, Sunday.
And considering you're rapping on the 2nd, you got the time to watch.
We may. The truth is, on the 3rd, I will DVR. Set your DVRs. On the 3rd, I travel back to New York to start rehearsal and wardrobe fitting on the season 3 of the annoyingly multi-award-winning Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on the Amazon Prime.
Yeah, great show.
Thank you, yes, and thank goodness we get to continue doing it. We just keep winning awards, which means more episodes. Thank you very much. March 3rd, the return of Bar Rescue, and more from Jon Taffer, and a whole new show you'll hear more about soon. Sam, the engineer, Sam Kiefer, thank you for everything. You make it all possible.
Always my pleasure.
I think it is always. And thank you for your being present and honest. And all the fine folks here at the Earwolf Studios. Remember, we're on Sunset Boulevard. Just come on up. Tell them I sent you. Second floor. No security here, really, to speak of. Just walk right in and say hello. Until next... Yeah, that's right. You did. Until next time, man, as always, get out of my face.